mention that we're United and Liverpool fans?
They can,
Yeah, you still have that black bit in your tooth.
actually, I'm gonna finish this tea.
Will we? Welcome to a football show. We're not BT, we're not Sky, we're just fans. I'm Owen, this is Connor, and as fans, we've got quite strong opinions on the Super League.
Over the last week, we have had 12 teams that have broken away and tried to form their own money-loving soccer league, basically. So you have the traditional top six of the English clubs. You have Liverpool, Manchester United, who are spearheading it, Manchester City and Tottenham, and Arsenal and Chelsea as well.
And from there then we go into Italy, and you have AC Milan, Juventus and Inter Milan being three of the clubs that are making up their side of things, with three left then in Barcelona, Real Madrid and Atletico Madrid, making up the 12 founding members of the Super League.
Yes, founding because they had money a long time ago.
And want more money in the future.
Yes.
Comes the money.
Here we go, money talk.
Here comes the money.
Florentino Perez, Real Madrid's president, Andre Agnelli for Juventus.
Paul Glazer as well, his name is all over it, and like Gary Neville said on Sky,
He doesn't put his name on anything.
yeah, unless it's legit stuff. I personally don't think that it's finished here. I think this was maybe a bit of a trial run, and there's definitely going to be some sort of reform. We saw the reform with the Champions League. I definitely don't agree with that, I have to say. But is it better than the Super League? Definitely, because no relegation, which obviously we've given a bit of background on the league, but the
Yeah,
information
everybody knows kind of what's happening in terms of how it was proposed and then shut down and the fan reaction. But with the new Champions League format now, like there's more games for the players. There's going to be 10 games in the group stage now.
There's
5
already
home,
too
5
many
away.
as well.
Yeah,
the problem.
that was the problem. Was that we've seen Gundogan has come out and said that UEFA is just the lesser of two evils here too, and also they've expanded the number of teams too. I think we've agreed that there's a lot of shit teams in the Champions
Yeah,
League
there's
these
too
days.
many. Like, I'm a United fan, and obviously heartbreaking to see us crash out to Leipzig this year. But when you have groups like that, which are quite a difficult group, I would call that the group of death for this year's Champions League. And then you have like City as well, especially every year. It's an easy draw. It's a Shakhtar, and like even in the quarterfinal stages, they get pretty lucky. Last 16 and quarterfinal, like Dortmund was quite an easy run. Mönchengladbach was even easier. Obviously, they have PSG now in the semi-final. Should it be played?
I think they should be played because if you're going to take penalties or ramifications, and leave it for the next season.
So do you think all 12 teams, 6 teams anyway, from do you think they're going to be out of the European competitions next season?
I think that the Champions League probably won't even survive. Well, not that it would survive, but the money would definitely be lost with all those teams gone. It won't be the same competition whatsoever. Again, if you're going to deduct points and things like that, you're really only punishing the fans. If John Henry, if Liverpool get a points deduction and they're out of the Champions League, John Henry will say, "Oh, look, like this is way less money that we're going to come in to the club this year," and he'll just move on, and then we're at a loss because we're in a worse position than that.
Yeah, it's the fans that are really going to miss out if there's penalties put on it that way.
Yeah.
I think what they should run with, and I know United fans are hitting on this point a lot, is the 50+1, so that over 50% of the club be owned by fans or fan members. Like they run in Germany, kind of, yeah. Like Gundogan came out and said, it is the lesser of two evils. It's like, it's money going into one rich man's pocket instead of another.
I suppose the main philosophical problem, if you want to say, with the Super League was the earning your place into it, as the Leeds players put on their jerseys. So, say when Liverpool won the Champions League in 2019, we had only qualified once for the last 10 years, or 9 campaigns, I think. So that makes it all the more sweeter after that, or twice if you include the campaign after, but the campaign before, and that. That's what it's all about, is having the lows and then rising back up, because like even United have won. You won a nice Europa League there a while ago too. And
Yeah, 2017.
yeah,
Speaking as well on a whole of like the mystique of the Champions League, and and is that going to be lost with a Super League competition coming in?
Yes.
Yes, of course it is. And like we were mentioning earlier, like I was in Paris for the 2008 win against Chelsea, and like just the whole atmosphere, and remembering like sitting in this like area of Disneyland, literally in Disneyland, watching the game, and just the whole like atmosphere. Even though it wasn't a big crowd, it's Paris. They have no real interest in United Football Club. It was still, there was something there, and there was that atmosphere about it. Are you going to lose that kind of thing with a Super League transition, especially when no relegation?
The Jurgen Klopp was quoted saying that it's like, why do you want to see Liverpool play Real Madrid or Man United play Barcelona, or whoever, Atletico and Real having that derby week in, not week in, week out, but you know, like all the time, and it just doesn't become special anymore.
I can't express my frustration of how many times I've had to see Man City play Shakhtar Donetsk. Because it's two better teams doesn't mean I'm not still going to be frustrated of seeing it all the time. Outside of the top 6 games, or say top 8, I'll watch the game, I have no problem, but I'm not like the same level of excited as like a Champions League, even a Europa League night, that it's evening time and there's big build up to the game, as opposed to be just being like 3 o'clock of a Saturday, you're playing Burnley and you have no real interest in, like, of course you'll watch it, but it loses the mystique that a Champions League, like the game Liverpool versus Real Madrid, it's like, when's the last time we've seen this? Not since the final. And excitement around that.
Where I was for the Liverpool and Tottenham final, and you have those memories like Owen was talking about in Paris, and you're in the pub and it's just like there's so many Liverpool fans and you're all together, and
was witness to that myself.
he was witness to that.
Sadly to see Liverpool win, but scenes in general is what you want. Like, I got drowned in a pint of Guinness on my brand new white sweatshirt, won't forget it. And that wasn't the most heartbreaking thing of the night, it was Liverpool winning the Champions League. So
did you go mad for the Europa League final? Yeah. There'd only be one winner each year if everybody joined the Super League. Just one team would win the Super League.
Yeah.
Every year out of 20 teams.
You'd have no Super Cup, you'd have no lower division.
No other competitions, there's no opportunity for silverware other than the Super League.
By the way, they only called it the Super League. On any documentation, it's the Super League.
We would have had Al Shabaab and we would have had Inter Miami and a few other
Inter Miami
teams.
definitely would have been involved.
Yes.
And I think it would have spread to United playing Barcelona in Turin one week, and
in Turin, no, in Abu Dhabi, and I don't know, somewhere just in an island off Fiji somewhere where they found oil.
Here we go, money talk.
This would purely be like, oh yeah, let's ignore all these. Not to say that like the fans around the world don't matter, they obviously do, but like let's ignore the season ticket holders and the people that go every week and pay their subscriptions to Sky and BT and all these channels to watch their team, and it's like, okay, yeah. The guys that throw on a Man City jersey and they're like, go Manchester United, and they're around like
Patrick Harris.
Yeah.
First football/soccer game. MetLife Stadium. Go Manchester United.
Andrea Agnelli said that like it's postponed. The plans are still there. Will that happen? I don't know. But even John Henry statement.
We heard you. I heard you.
Bullshit. Like, oh, I'm sorry. We heard you and we just didn't like the reaction. We're gonna lie to you here now and tell you that we've changed our minds, but we haven't. We're just gonna wait down the line.
Yeah, we leave it off. ... You know what I mean? It's like there's something coming, and it's definitely with them trying to rearrange or reform the Champions League.
Yes.
There's definitely going to be more ramifications. United and Arsenal specifically, I think are need to take the most actions as a fan base against their owners, because we've seen Arsenal in like the last 10-15 years obviously a massive fall off, but
Arsenal and Tottenham, the fact that they were in this was a joke. Leicester should be in this based
even
on
teams like West Ham, Aston Villa are pushing more.
Arsenal and Tottenham
both
have 0 European titles, and they were in the Super League.
And they play awful football. Like,
Yeah.
look,
Brilliant.
Arteta is a debate again to maybe another day. But I don't think the football is of standard. Definitely not of Arsenal standard, of past Arsenal generations. And sure, Mourinho is gone now as well. Again, maybe another talk for another day. But
Yeah.
we've seen that, like, the investment levels have been awful. Like, money has been invested, don't get me wrong. United have signed, especially since the Ferguson era, some big names like Pogba, Zlatan, Di Maria. But I feel like them signings are just shirt sales, drive shirt sales, and looks at players as almost assets as well as like Pogba realistically was bought to be sold. Eventually, develop him into a player. Hope he wins titles with
The
us.
lovely number 6 store, like, you know.
Yeah,
It's,
sell Pogba to Real Madrid.
he's a product more so than like an asset to your team.
Yeah, Arsenal the same with buying Pepe, especially a couple of years ago. Not that they didn't need a right midfielder, but their problem was
Yeah,
the
they spent
centre back.
70 million on that when
Yeah.
that could have been getting on a
Yeah.
side. I would like to see all of these owners out. It is a bit of a deal breaker. I don't know if you can trust any of these people sitting on a board, but yeah, I suppose it was more of a betrayal to us because John Henry hadn't been that guy previously. Well, obviously he's kind of shown his true
Yeah.
colours here too.
Like I think you could say the same as well about Tottenham, Chelsea, and City, because their owners have backed in the last years. Look, we all know Daniel Levy is fairly scabby with his wallet and both ways taking money in and out of the club, or putting money in.
Do you
and
mean
taking money out.
Jeff Bezos?
Jeff Bezos,
Yeah.
basically, his long lost brother.
Did you see that Joe Glazer quote about relegation? Saying
Yeah.
that he can't. He's been in football 2 years. It was 2 years after he'd been in football. He said that he can't. He still couldn't wrap his head around relegation.
Or the offside
Yeah,
rule.
or the offside rule, and that he just doesn't understand it at all. And why do we do it? And sometimes I can't understand why the Americans don't do it.
Yeah, it's because they don't have enough feeder
Yeah.
systems into their leagues.
But they love franchises. They
Yeah.
love that franchise.
They love that the Chicago Bulls is always going to be
Yeah,
the
they're always
Chicago
going to be
Bulls.
the Chicago Bulls, and they're always going to be like they'll always have that chance of winning the World Series, and that's what we want as well. Is that we'll always have the chance of winning
World
the Premier
Series of
League,
baseball.
the
NBA championship.
NBA Championship. It's all the World Series, isn't it?
You're almost supporting players as opposed to teams.
Yeah.
Because you know who's the best and you know who's going to be the best. Whereas football, anything can happen. And, you know, Modric won a Ballon d'Or a few years ago. Like, who would have called that at the start of the year? It was Messi's and Ronaldo's. They were just cheering it there for however long. And, you know, stuff like that can happen. And it's because he can bring Real Madrid to a Champions League final and win it. And he can
Leicester
bring
winning the
Croatia.
Premier League.
Yeah.
And like if we had the Super League and every single Premier League team was getting a guaranteed, I think it was 350 million euros anyway each year, or
Yeah,
300
and
million
there
euros.
was more guarantees with
and
that.
so
as
what
well.
you could do is then focus on the Super League. Liverpool can have Trent and Salah and Fabinho and Thiago and Van Dijk and all the top lads playing the Super League, and then they can just buy a new 11.
Where do you think it goes from here? Because we have mentioned like Champions League has changed. Don't agree with that.
I think definitely that the power of fans, as cringy as it sounds, of
Yeah.
the power of coming together.
But it is. That's what
But
happened.
yeah, but it
though.
kind of
That's
is.
what
It's like
happened.
everybody just like there was a bit of a group thing. Everybody was like, no, this isn't the way we wanted to go. I genuinely think that once it all kind of calms down and passes a bit, that the Champions League are going to have to look at the fact that like players don't like this too, and I think more power needs to especially go back into the players because they're the ones that have to play. It's easy for us because we can watch Tuesday, Wednesday and Thursday and then a Saturday and a Sunday football
Yeah.
and Monday too. Like we can do it every day of the week, but they can't, and especially playing at the top level.
Yeah,
so
and
that's definitely
it's going to be very demanding.
Yeah.
A very demanding season.
I don't think there's a whole pile wrong with the Champions League at the moment. I think the round of 16 probably needs to be cut out, and whatever way you can do that, and then lessen teams in the group stage, and you go straight into quarterfinals. The groups will be more competitive. There'll be less games too, and I think there'll be more of a mystique as well around like the 8 teams that get into the
Yeah,
quarterfinals.
but it's the night as well. It's like
Yeah.
it's that setting of like dark evening.
Yeah.
Floodlights.
You're also adding
the song, everything that
about
comes
it.
with
Yeah, you're adding this like the Pepsi Max.
Yeah.
The
Everything
Conference
involved
League
in it.
in too, so I think I think
that's going to be a poor standard. It's
What-
going to be English teams winning it.
yeah, we were saying that before, and that like if you're adding this Conference League, it's almost like to make the Champions League more special, but what they're doing is they're actually making it less special by adding more teams, and also by like saying, oh, there's a European competition for everybody.
Yeah.
You know, there needs to be a higher level of competition in the Champions League. Like one said, Manchester City needs to stop playing Shakhtar Donetsk, and
But you have to do it in an organic way. You can't just fabricate these competitions. Like, Shakhtar say qualify for the Champions League next year, and next thing they get relegated down to the Europa League, where they should be, as opposed to they crash out every year in like fourth. They don't even get a Europa League run. Like, it's just straight back to the league. And sure, of course they're going to walk a Ukrainian league when they've been doing it for how many years now. So they're just qualifying to just get knocked out. It's not even get a Europa League run. It's just get knocked out. So why not let them filter into a Europa League as opposed to just kicking them out of a competition, the European competition every year?
That's been the first episode of A Football Show. The best football show on the internet right now. The best production quality.
Not Sky or BT.
Not Sky or BT. Yeah, we don't make any money. So
Yes.
yes. But yeah, thanks very much for listening, and we'll be back when more drastic things happen in the world of football.
See you then.
Yeah.